Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In War of the Visions Global, let's do an in-depth look at the Final Fantasy Tactics characters. And then in JP, we'll do kind of a preview of the second round of Tactics characters. And before, I did make an overview of those Tactics units, but that was with very little hands-on experience. But since then, I've had about 3-4 months of experience looking at them running around the game. So I have a much better idea of what they're good at and what they're not good at. But long story short, Orlandeau is simple but super strong, Ramza is solid and versatile with lots of interesting skills, and Gaffgarion is a UR unit disguised as an MR unit. First of all, let's look at Orlandeau. Most people are paying attention to him. And yeah, I still don't have him, so I can't show him in my own account. But hopefully, this one will be useful. So he is probably the most used unit in JP, and that's for a good reason. He's versatile, tough, and easy to use. He doesn't hit quite as hard as like Stern or Eileen, but he hits hard enough for most content. He has ranged attacks, AoE attacks, breaks, lightning and perils, drains, status effects, and nice self buffs. He has good HP for an attacker and pretty good agility as well. He is lightning element, so he has the advantage on water units, but he is weak to earth units. And his best attack, let's see if I can find it. The first one here. This one will break defense and then do damage after that. I think he was the first character in the game to get that, so very, very strong. Doesn't cost very much, and then you can use it many times per battle as well. He is a slash attacker. We can see the slash icon there on many of his attacks. So he'll chain with a lot of the best damage dealers for some months, and so even if he is off element, he can still be a decent choice for mid-level raids. But once you get to the high-level raids, he won't do as much damage as the on-element attackers, so if you try to elbow your way into a room, you may be kicked out of there. Sub-jobs, he also has Samurai and Knight. I see Samurai once in a while in PvP, but I think you really want to double up on the Holy Knight job. There's good skills in there as well. So yeah, this is like a HP break. This is a TP drain. And then this is a area of effect attack, which will also add silence, so pretty good. Orlandeau does physical damage, so the traditional tanks like Monto, Engelbert, and Nasia will work pretty well against him. Monto might be the best because he has the earth element, so he's got the advantage there on Orlandeau. As for cards that you could put on Orlandeau, you maybe want to enhance his slash attacks. So like Iron Giant, or Kiton, or Muraga, any of those cards would be good. Conversely, if you wanted to defend against him, you could use Iron Giant. That will give you slash resistance. Or you could use, I think it's this one. Yeah, you could use this Trustmaster here. This will give you lightning resistance plus 10. Plus 10 doesn't sound like a lot, especially if you're coming from Brave Exvius, but in this game it counts for a lot. And then as for Espers, a lot of different Espers give you slash resistance up, so that could be good. And then the best Esper to attack him might be Cactar, because he has both Maneater and Lightning Slayer. As for weaknesses on Orlandeau, there's not a lot. But earlier when I said that he's a very simple character, it's because he is an attacker out and out. And he has like 0 support abilities for your other characters. He's a little bit immobile. He has good agility, but only move 3, jump 2. So that's a disadvantage. But as for the meta, he'll be kind of unchallenged until Kitufe comes around. Kitufe is that earth element magician, and she can withstand Orlandeau's attacks really well because she's very tanky. Yeah, as we can see here, Orlandeau's pretty weak against magic, so that'll be extra damage there. And then I do want to bring this up because it is pretty important, but anytime a new character comes out, you want to look at what they're weak against, because that can sort of like revive some older characters. So we look here. Orlandeau's weak against both Pierce and Earth. So who would that be? That's Eileen. So if you run across Orlandeau in PvP, you can bring your Eileen and then get some good damage on him. Maybe another weakness of Orlandeau is that he goes through AP pretty quickly because of all of his skills. I would recommend always try to keep enough AP on hand so that you can use the Darkness Blade so that you can drain HP and then heal up again. If you can consistently make that work, then he'll be pretty buff, pretty hard to stop. So Orlandeau, in short, is he the best attacker in the game? No, because there is no such thing as the best attacker. But is he the best lightning element slash type attacker? Then the answer is yes. Is he the best lightning attacker overall? Depends on the situation. Sometimes Federica will be better. And then is he the best slash attacker? Again, depends on the situation. It could be Stern, or Rob, or Gilgamesh, or even Gaffgarion or Shadowlynx. But yeah, nobody should regret going after Orlandeau. Very powerful, very easy to use. Really, the only people that should be reluctant to go after him are people that don't want to chase a limited time UR, or people that don't want to follow the herd. Okay, next, let's talk about Ramza. Ramza is light element, so he has to compete with a lot of other characters for materials. But that also means he has a lot of chaining partners, especially with him being a slash attacker. So Thancred, Rob, Engelbert, and then later the Warrior of Light. They can all be chaining partners together. And Ramza has a lot of mix of different abilities. He's much more complex than Orlandeau. Orlandeau's just attacking, but Ramza is support and a little bit of healing, and then attacking as well. He's also one of the best chainers because he has a 3-hit attack. Let's see if I can find that. There we go. That's great in everyday quests for clearing those chain missions, but also good in raids for building the chain and then setting up your other teammates for more damage. But he also has breaks and some magic attacks. But main job is Squire, and then he has... yeah, I think it's this one here. This is like a shuriken from Ninja, but a little bit better. It doesn't have quite the range, but it's also very cheap. You can use it a moderate number of times per quest, and then it has element on it. Shuriken does not have element, so it can't element chain. And then if you do his sub-job, the Mage Knight, he gets stuff like Banish Sword and Banish Ga Sword. Also Bio Sword, which is kind of underrated, but also good. And then all of these will get the element and then the slash chain. And then also Attract Spell, which might be his best attack, but it has some range, has some area of effect, doesn't cost too much, and then it also raises his hate, so you could maybe use him as like a sub-tank. I would not recommend him as a magic tank, however, because he has natural weakness to magic. But yeah, as we can see, Slash and Strike and Projectile, he has some resistances, so he's kind of tanky. But yeah, with those Mage Knight skills, the Banish Sword and the Banish Ga Sword, since you're doing magic damage, that can be good against like physical tanks like Engelbert and Mont, and also Orlandeau, just because they have the magical resistance weakness. And then one of the best things about him is his limit break. I don't know why this guy has not leveled it up. But it's magic damage, has range and area of effect, and it has 100% rate to hit. So against evade parties, this is one of the best attacks in the game. As we can see though, it is non-elemental, so that could be good or bad depending on the situation. He also has a ninja sub-job, but I wouldn't recommend using that for the active skills. I would use it more for the passive skills, like agility or movement up. And then Ramza's Trustmaster, let's see if I can find that. It's actually not so hot. So if you wanted to, you could just get him to 89 and then save yourself that 10,000 lapis or whatever it is that you need to buy the last 200 shards, and then you'll still have a very strong character that will have a long lifespan. But yeah, as we can see here, yeah, decent HP, decent defense, a little bit of a critical evade, and then some TP heal. So yeah, this is not great, so I wouldn't aim for it. But if you're a completionist and you want the level 99 Ramza, then go for it. And yeah, Ramza overall is a really interesting character, and I kind of regret skipping him the first time that he came around in JP. But now that he's back, I think I am going to skip him, because I do have Rob, who is my light element slash attacker, so I think I'm covered there. On paper, Ramza kind of reminds me of Miranda, who's my favorite character, but really versatile with a number of skills and no real weaknesses, so if you really learn Ramza's moveset, I think you could have a lot of fun using him. Okay, and then finally let's talk about Gaffgarion. I'll just talk about him briefly because in my overview video I went into pretty good detail there. But he's kind of like a mini Orlandeau, just an out-and-out attacker. Maybe the most interesting thing about him is his Monk subjob. That will give him strike-type attacks. So that way he can chain with both Stern and Jiza, depending on the raid or whatever it is that you're doing. So he's actually a very versatile chainer. And nobody should skip him. There was a raid where dark slash damage was the best type of attack. So I had a team of Stern, Shadow Lynx, Sasayaki, and then this guy. And then that way I was able to do the raid just entirely solo, which was very quick and efficient. So that made me really happy to have Gaffgarion. Okay, and then I think that will cover it for the tactics collaboration. Gaffgarion is a free unit, so you farm the quest and then you will get his shards. Everybody should get his 500 shards. Okay, next let's talk about a preview of the second part of the tactics collaboration. The three characters will be Agrias, Delita, and Mustadio. Agrias and Delita, they will be the UR units. They will most likely be available in the Hatcher. And then Mustadio, I don't know how he's going to be available. Either he will be a handout character like Gaffgarion, and then you have to like farm like a different quest, or maybe get his shards from coins or something. Or he will be a Hatcher MR monster. If he's a free character, I'll definitely get his 500 shards, but if he's a Hatcher MR, I don't know, I might just get the single drop and then be done with it. But Delita, main job Squire, although his logo is different from Ramza, so he might have some different skills. Hopefully he has some of the same things like double break and the 3-hit attack, and then that sort of like elemental shuriken. That would be great. And then it seems like he is fire element, and I was actually wanting a fire slash attacker, so I think I am going to go after Delita. Agrias, she looks like she is ice element, and then her main job is Holy Knight, which is the same as Orlandeau. But she should be more supporty than Orlandeau, so maybe her attacks won't be as strong as him, but she'll be able to do more things like raise defenses or regen or something, so she should be a fine attacker, but with a little bit more variety than Orlandeau. And then Mustadio, he looks like Earth element, and that's nice, he'll be good against Orlandeau. And then his main job is Engineer. In Final Fantasy XIV, that's a very offensive job, and it looks like he has a chaining skill at range, which is one of the reasons why I love Lucia so much. So to be able to get that in an MR character will be really, really nice for like Dolphins and free-to-play players. Okay, I think that will do it for this video about the upcoming global and a preview of the JP parts of the tactics collaboration. Later, when I get more information on the JP Tactics Part 2 collaboration, I'll do another video about that there. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.